Again, good morning, class. I hope you had time to rest. We were just starting with some housekeeping in the time we wait for your classmates to connect. Remember, we are not taking assistance or attendance, in the old meaning of attendance, but I am checking that you connect, that you come to classes, just in the sense that we need to know what's going on with you. If there are any problems we can help you with. So it's a follow-up, because we have discovered during the first semester that there were students with problems and they couldn't communicate or didn't receive any messages, they couldn't send any messages, so we cannot lose track of you. So that's what we're doing, just collecting some data and trying to reach out to people who are more disconnected, live far away, have more problems. So that's the only objective of collecting attendance. Okay, I know there are people who already have problems with connection, and I would be trying to communicate with them personally. Okay, so that's one thing. Then go to Educandos. You have new materials at the beginning of the week. I will show you. I will show you Educandos, how it looks like, and hope that we can see the documents. Okay, so this is week 3 on Educandos. Well, you know the rest. Sorry, something happened. And then we will follow, I will try to follow the same organization for every week. But here at the beginning, we have the important documents that were missing 2 weeks ago, and that the professors, the teachers of English have been working with together to have a unified proposal for students. And you know now rubrics, we are trying to have rubrics that all look similar to, from one module to another, trying to have this pattern of work and system of work because of accreditation, and also because we need it for students to have a clear idea. So the first document is the portfolio. Okay, the new portfolio will look like this. Very similar to what you did last semester, the same idea. It begins here. This is the cover page and the introduction. And it follows the same idea from last semester, in which you collect your work. Please do every week, complete your tasks. Otherwise, we know they accumulate, and December will be a very busy month. We will be doing lots of things. And we know that then we have a busy time trying to finish everything. So you follow the same idea, the date, the class topic, the materials you used for the task, what are the activities, so you watched videos, you read some documents or websites or chapters. And here you will write, you will copy, yes, you copy and paste the task. And you know you did task 1, all of the exercises you did in task 1 go here. And then you have 3 questions. I rewrote these questions from last semester. And you have three questions to reflect. Remember, you're being also evaluated by the depth of these reflections. So it's not only one answer, one sentence. One sentence answer is not. You are already preparing for your B2 level, proficiency level. So we really need to be pushing ourselves to write complete paragraphs. Mm-hmm. Okay, then task 2. I think I have 6 tasks, But anyway, you know, you add more. I didn't read again and count again the tasks, but you know, you can add more. Task 5, we will be always reminding you, we have the reminders, we have the housekeeping section. So I will be telling you, please add one more task. You know this, you already know this. It's very similar to what we did last semester. In the end, however, we have the final reflections. This is new, this is a new section. And these questions tend to be more general, seeing the whole module as a whole, trying to reflect on the whole process, yes? Okay, so those are the sections. There are 6 tasks, yes, but anyway, here you have a name. So this semester I try to write names, so you also add the name. For example, task 1 is communicative language teaching. You have different varieties according to the topic. So you can write that down as well. So that's one of the documents. Download it, have it ready, and be ready to complete, yes, and keep up completing the tasks on time. The second, and I need to download another, the second one is the rubrics. These rubrics have been rewritten from last semester, and I will show you. It follows a pattern as well that we have decided for every module. So we will be working with similar. Of course, they are different according to the module, but they follow a pattern, a kind of model. So they will have 5 bands. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you have 5 bands to be evaluated on. You have band 0, that's when it doesn't exist. So there's no portfolio, there's no task. So this is nothing, yes, 0. And then you have 7, which is excellent. Here, when you start, so when everything is in place, you have 7. And from there, you can have, for example, 1 task missing, and then you start going down, yes? So the most important thing is that you have everything there, but it's not only completion in questions in the sense of numbers, but it's also completion in the sense of communication, in the sense that you express yourselves, write a minimum of words that is that gives you the possibility to write a complete answer. So it's also that. It's not completion because I will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay. But I read your tasks and I want them to be complete, in the sense that you communicate what you want to communicate. Everything is coherent and cohesive. You have learned that in Spanish. It's the same in English. You have an amount of words that allow you to communicate, to express yourselves. And so that's what is most important, yes? So you have specific requirements, sections, you have that, but you also have content. And in the content area is where you show what you know and everything you create, because there is also creativity. So everything new that you create, your ideas, your activities, everything you produce yourself is also very important in this rubric. And the process of your reflection. So it's not only 1 sentence, 1 word, but it's a complete thought. Yes, it's a complete task. Okay, that's what I wanted to tell you about the portfolio. So you have the ready to start copying and pasting. The next rubric document I want you to see is the forum participation rubric. Remember, you had some instructions to follow, and that was okay. But this is the actual rubric. You will see. Again, you can read it. Okay, again, we have the 5 bands, yes. 1, 0, you see, you pass through different stages. You will be evaluated here on 2 levels. One is your content and language. You're communicating something, yes? So you really need to pay attention to what you say. You keep on task, you keep on the topic. If we're talking about communicative language teaching, then you keep that topic. Your language is expressed with minor errors, so it's well, and so you can understand what you read. Your vocabulary is appropriate. And so that is an important task, as you have been also evaluated last semester according to your written work, yes, and given feedback on how to express yourselves in written. The next section is your comments, and in your comments, as you have read in the instructions, your comments need to be more complete as well, as I was saying, fully developed, taking into account conceptual knowledge. So you're talking about the concepts that you're learning. Generally, you will express some kind of summary, yes. Then you will give your personal opinions, 2 personal opinions. I think, remember that what we are publishing in the forum is some personal kind of proposal from classmates. For example, activities, something new we create. So we give our personal opinions, but always supported by conceptual knowledge. So we don't change the topic. So that's why I wrote content here. The content is the guide, yes? So we don't change the topic. We're talking about communicative language teaching. We respond around that topic. In my opinion, oh, Genesis, I liked your activity very much. In my opinion, it respects communicative language teaching, but you could add some warm-up activity. So that's an opinion. And that's also a suggestion, because I want to give some positive suggestion to my classmates. Yeah? And because we're talking about communicative language teaching, we suggest that such a person, colleague, does a warm-up activity in which students exchange some messages. And in that case, we will be always talking about the topic. We will give our opinion very kindly, yes, and we will give a suggestion. 2 suggestions are the best, yes. So sometimes we do not, we feel uncomfortable to give suggestions, but that's our profession. We will always be giving suggestions to other teachers. So that's normal. Teachers know how to accept a suggestion for improvement. Yes, it's to be better. Yeah. And also you respect your classmates. So always respect the decision of your classmate, yes, and the position and the opinions. Okay. Okay. So Liselda is saying something. We are looking at the forum postings rubric, yes, and analyzing it. So it's also very qualitative, although we are counting some. So you remember you are doing this for 2 classmates, but it's very qualitative in the sense that I want you to express yourself in complete answers. Yeah? That is the important thing. Okay. All right. And then we finish with communicative achievement, which is also communicate what I want to communicate. Keep on topic, respect the conventions of communication. Yes. Be nice. Communicative achievement is a very big, broad area in which I have to respect my colleague. I have to follow certain rules of respect and courtesy and kindness, I have to keep on the topic. I cannot be giving a suggestion for improvement and saying, but yes, please improve your very impolite, using impolite language, improve your warm-up and change your clothes. We cannot change the topic. Yes, that's the idea. You always keep on the communication and the line of communication. You are very nice. I suggest you change your warm-up activity and create posters with pictures and words, for example. And then you're giving suggestions, being nice, and keeping on track, keeping on topic. We cannot change the topic. And then also the minimum of words. Of course, I am giving some very rough examples, which are very short, but you are, of course, elaborating on those answers. So here is a good guidance for you to see. Again, you go from nothing, if you don't write any comment, then you're nothing, and then here to 7. Okay, so that's the other rubric. And the final one is the checklist for the activities you will be doing every week with a classmate. Okay, I am going to share, because I have to change. That is very similar to the supervisor's checklist we worked with last semester. It's adapted from that one. We also have the 5 levels. So we are all unified. You also have the 5 levels, okay? And here you have the descriptors, the aspects. And here you have the grades. And in the end, some comments for improvement. So you have seen this, this last semester. This is for performance. So that's why it is a little bit different from a rubric. You have the descriptors, you have the levels, and these descriptors describe your performance. Yes, so you're performing in class. Okay, so those are the important documents for you to bear in mind. We have been working together, as I said, in organizing them, so that we all have this unification of criteria. Okay, so we start. So that's pretty much what we were going to see in the housekeeping section. Is there anything else you need to ask? I think it's clear in that sense, in the sense that you have the materials. Every week you will have all the sections on Educandos, so you will have important documents, documents to complete the task, the forum, the PowerPoint, the video, so consistently. And if there is something extra, we will explain in class as well, as we do usually. Okay, just the reminders of our organization. Always please wake up early on Tuesday. Yesterday I was very busy in the evening, so I sent a link very late. It doesn't matter, as I say, online education has this situation. So please, you know, Tuesday mornings we have class. Okay, again here the housekeeping. Always check for new information. Also the agreements are going to be on Educandos every week. So every week you do not know what you have to do, go back to Educandos and you have the agreements, the materials, the forum, etc. Remember, we had something to do this week, which was organize the pair work, the group work, to work with the standards, and sorry, these are proper names, but sometimes they copy from one document into another. They copy in a wrong way. So the point is that you will be working with classmates. I need you to tell me the names of your classmates you're going to work with. Remember, go back to last year's second task, task 2. And in there, you wrote about this, about which activities you would do, yes, to review the pedagogical standards. And I'm sure you're going to find your ideas are there. So task 2 in the portfolios, in the Bitácoras from last semester. And select, you needed to think the classmates you're going to work with. And we're going to have a lottery to see which pair is starting and the order. So we organize now quickly. So your groups, how are you going to work with it? Barbara, your last semester's classmate was? Could you work with her again?
I don't remember. Maybe Javiera Labraña.
Yeah, Javiera Labraña. Yeah, exactly. Can you work with her?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay, so Javiera Labraña, since you worked very well last semester, probably we keep the pairs. Okay, Barbara and Javiera, Eliselda and Genesis. What's that?
Genesis.
Yes. Okay. Yes, you work very and the cat, and Liselda's cat, who is also an actor in the videos. I like that very much. Oh, so fluffy! This cat is so cute, so nice, and behaves very, very nicely. So it seems you really have a good relationship. Okay, Javiera Garcia. Who did she work with?
Maybe
Araceli.
with Araceli, yeah.
Araceli, okay. Araceli, I will post this so everyone will see. So please, I will write a follow-up. Okay, Araceli, Genesis already there.
Daniela Mora with
Daniela,
Camila.
Camila.
And Brian with Josefina, maybe.
No, they're not here. They're not. Eileen and Kate.
Oh,
Daniela and Camila, and the two girls from third year, which they're not doing this task. Camila, Eileen, and do you know anything about her? I know she works asynchronically, but I do not know anything. Kate is expecting a baby, so she's following up a very strict treatment or taking care of her health. So that's why Kate is mostly offline, but they work, even if it's asynchronous. Yes, Griselda, any problem?
The year, how is Lucia is not in this module?
No, Lucia is doing the first year's modules. Yeah, she's finishing from last year. Yeah, she's with literature. Luis didn't finish, didn't pass creación, so he has to do second year again next year.
So bad.
Yes, yes, at the last minute, I wrote to him, inviting him to finish a bitácora and everything, but he was just disconnected. He couldn't finish. Yeah, a pity.
Maybe he's waiting the girlfriend, Lucia.
His girlfriend. Yes.
Because exactly. They always work
together. Okay, so they will be working together next year probably. Okay, it's a good idea. It's a good system. Okay, so we will organize standard 1, 2, 3, and 4 to begin with, and then we will have another lottery. I hope, how many groups do we have? I think we have more groups. How many? 6? No, 5 groups. 5 groups. So up to standard 5. And we have one color each standard, so you have to choose one color. And you have to choose one color, and I will write down your names. Okay? Which color?
I want to
Barbara?
choose the green.
Green is standard 2. Standard
Mhm.
2. Barbara, standard 2. And that will be in 2 weeks' time. It will be October already. Oh my gosh, where is October? I think it's the 6th of October. Okay,
Okay.
6. Okay, Liselda, I will have to write because we have someone started next week.
Okay, Miss.
My gosh, I have to write to these people. Okay, next.
The picture.
Mhm.
Oh, I see a Barbara in the.
Ah, okay. Sorry. Okay, so here we have,
Can I
do
say?
you have
There,
green? No, blue, yellow, pink, and white.
Genesis say pink, so in that case, pink.
Pink, standard
I
4.
will show green.
Standard 4 in, oh, we have still time for that one. Okay, standard 4, that will be on, let's count the weeks. So this is the 6th, this 13th, like the 20th, around there. October 20th.
It is a presentation.
Yes, it is a presentation. Remember, you have here
Ah,
the instructions. They are in the lesson plan. So you will, and also in the descriptors of the checklist. Yes, so you're very similar to what you did. It's an activity, it's a presentation, but you also have a short activity. You have the materials, a handout for your classmates. So you have, this is a general description, and then you have the checklist with all the descriptors there. So you have to create, remember everything we did last semester, yes? You have to create, it could be a warm-up, but you have to have all the materials, the vocabulary, you have to make your classmates interact, participate, have something to write. That's the idea of a handout, so that you all collect handouts with activities from different standards from your classmates. Okay, so you will have to help me, Araceli and Javiera. We have bluish color, blue. Okay, we will stop. So we have blue, yellow, and white. Yes, go. For Araceli, choose one.
Araceli is not here.
Not here, but
yeah,
just help me choose because we need to, I will write to them so that they know.
blue.
Oh, we can help.
Blue.
Blue,
Yeah,
yeah.
blue is standard 5.
Yes.
Standard 5, so Javiera will, Javiera and Araceli will be doing standard 5. That's almost the end of October. Then Daniela and Camila, standard 5. Camila is disconnected, I'm afraid. Okay, Camila, so for Camila there is yellow and white.
Yellow.
Yellow is standard 3, oh, but I'm afraid. Well, but they will be doing standard 1 next week. I have to talk to them to see whether they can connect and do this. So this will be next week. That's September. Next week is 29th. Okay, so I will talk to them. And Kate and Eileen, whether they can connect at in any moment. I'm not sure whether they can do this, but in case they can't, I will be, we will be doing again this lottery. I will write to everyone saying, I really need you connected because we have very few hours. We don't have 2 days like last semester. And it's really urgent that we connect as much as we can. So here. Okay, excellent. So I will write with this news. I will write with the news, and everyone will be informed. Okay, so again, we go back to our presentation. Yes, any questions?
No, did you forget Brian Paineman?
I know he didn't do creación either, so he has to do next year.
Okay.
Okay, so we are 10, the people from second year, and 2 students from third year who are doing their practicum now. So they will be doing asynchronous work. So that's okay as well. It's another possibility. So there is a possibility to work asynchronously since they need to finish this module and they are doing some other modules. So that's the problem whenever you are not doing with your group, but sometimes you get problems with other modules. Okay, so that will be October 13th. Okay. So again, about the module, did you have any other doubts about the module? What we're doing in pairs? So this is collaborative. So the oral projects are all collaborative. You're working in pairs to do this presentation, then to do a lesson plan, to prepare a lesson plan and present it. So those are group work that you're going to work together. Of course, the micro teaching is also group work. Whereas the rest is mainly individual work in which you show your progress, your personal progress. Every week I will be reminding you of upcoming activities, something we need to finish as usual. And here's again, everything is in the lesson plan already signaled, but every week I will be, when we have housekeeping, we will be talking about those topics, the regulations as well. And so we are in Unit 1. And what we were talking about last week was communicative language teaching, and you did your task. Could you finish the task? Was it easy to complete? Girls? Could you finish the task?
The graphic organizer.
The graphic organizer, yes. Do you remember the list of activities? And you did
Yes,
a graphic organizer. Yes, exactly. So do you remember this discussion we did together online about whether activities were meant to be a meta-linguistic analysis of the language, whether activities were done with an authentic purpose or with a communicative purpose. And we know that activities that we do in the classrooms, and we have seen teachers or other teachers also in Spanish or in English, or different activities we watch on videos, have different objectives. And the idea was that you created your list of the activities you had participated at. For example, one activity you did at university that you remember. Oh, I need to write bigger letters. Yeah. Anyone? Okay.
In the first year?
Yes, during first year. For
It
example,
was
which
many years
activity did
ago.
you used to do a lot at university when you went to face-to-face classes?
Mm,
Once upon a time, when we had face-to-face classes, we used to do something. In theater, for example, what did you do with the teacher, the professor?
we work in the trust that we have with the rest of classmates.
Uh-huh. Okay, and which activity did you do for that? Remember you tell, for example, you
An activity,
show, you talk, you some action verb, an action verb.
we had to close the eyes, and
Uh-huh.
our
We
partner have to
closed our
uh,
eyes.
uh,
Mhm.
walk with us without looking at the university. So we have
Without
to,
opening your eyes, yes. So you
yes,
closed your eyes and our partners had to guide you.
yes. So we have to try to trust in the partner.
Yes, exactly. So we closed our eyes and our partners guided us throughout campus. Let's say. Throughout
Mhm.
campus, looking for this idea of building up trust in others. Yes, you have to do this, a very well-known technique to throughout campus, in the sense that you need someone to guide you. Is this a language? Was there any kind of language expressed? Because we are talking about communicative language teaching, and there are some activities that are not necessarily language activities, but most of them can have some language. So if to this action we added some language, because probably your classmates were talking to you about something, but you couldn't open your eyes, but you were receiving some kind of language, some kind of communication. Which kind of activity do you think this was? Was this an authentic activity? Was it a communicative activity? Or was it a metalinguistic activity? What do you think?
I think that it was a mental activity.
It was no
It,
metalinguistic. This is when you
yes, but
analyze language. I think it was a kind
yeah,
of my opinion is that it was a kind of communicative activity in which you were trying to communicate something, even when there was little language, but it's not metalinguistic. I will write to you to see if you recognize a metalinguistic activity. For example, my students in first year, okay, I will write. So let us see if you recognize this better. And I don't know why it comes so, it's difficult to write. Students in first year, in the first year, close text. In both aspects. In both aspects. Okay. Okay, this is one activity my students do to prepare for a test. So students in the first year complete a closed text. So those texts with gaps, and they completed with verbs in the past in both aspects, simple and continuous. So they had to complete sentences like, While I was walking to school, I met my friend, Bobby. Who, yes? Okay, so what kind of activity is that one? Is an authentic activity? Is it a communicative activity? Or is it a metalinguistic activity? Remember the examples, yes? For example, when students do some action because the teacher is calling them, it's an authentic activity. If I say, all of my students in first grade, please stand up, come and sit with me, and the students accomplish that, so that's an authentic use of the language. Whereas if they are showing their pictures and describing their parents, their family, they are just communicating something. So in this case, which could that be? Barbara, any idea? You're paying attention to verb tenses.
What mean close? Close.
Close close is those gap texts that miss a word. You have seen for sure
Ah,
many
okay.
of those gaps. I don't have any.
So in the A, I think.
It's an authentic activity.
Often.
Is it authentic?
Oh no. Maybe metalinguistic activity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're learning about the language. So there, do you see the difference?
Yeah, the analyze the language is
Ex-
metalinguistic.
Exactly, the analysis. Can you see, Liselda?
No, miss, I cannot see.
Ah, okay. Sorry. I probably am not sharing. Okay, look at this. All right, now I am sharing. Can you see my screen?
No yet.
Okay. So, but there it is. I think I did it right. So the difference is that in the first one, you are communicating something. And we were discussing last week whether communication was only linguistic or could it be also with your bodies. Whenever you tell your students, touch your head, touch your mouth, you are communicating. And students, even when they don't answer in language, we said last semester, or they were communicating, they were understanding and communicating something. But those cases can be communicative cases. And they're not always authentic, as you can see. Authentic use of the language is when I use the language to as similar as it could be to real life. So if I say we're in camp, imagine we're on campus, and I tell Liselda, please can you close the door? There's so much noise outside. So Liselda stands up, goes to the door and closes it. Imagine that picture. In that use of the language, we are not analyzing the language, we are not analyzing the verbs, whether I am using a command or a question. We're not analyzing the language, we are not analyzing the present tenses or the past tenses. And probably I am using it to communicate a request, but it's also an authentic use. I will do that here in class with you. I would do it in a class with native speakers of English. I would do it with people outside classes. Yes, I could say in the United States, oh, please, could you close the door? It is very cold inside here at the hairdressers, for example. And so that's authentic use of the language. Can you see? Can you see the difference?
Yeah, yes, miss.
Better examples? Okay, so for example, ask students to stand up and close a door. And that's something you will be doing a lot in classrooms. Not only because you will be teaching, probably you will be giving an example, yes, which will be more metalinguistic, but also because it's something you normally do in everyday life. So that's what probably communicative language teaching got it right or not. What they tried to do was to simulate real life activities as much as possible. And of course, we know the classroom is a place where we can repeat real life activities, or sometimes we can't. But that's what one of the ideas of communicative language teaching wanted to accomplish in the classroom. And if you listen to Dr. Richards, he says that in the video, yes? Bring communication, real communication to the classroom. Sometimes it's very difficult to do, because what do we do mostly in the classrooms? What do we do? Mostly we talk about
Verbs.
real situations, verbs, nouns, specific vocabulary. This is the book, this is the pencil. And in most cases, classrooms have been created with this idea, probably activities have been created with the idea that we need to understand about language and know about language, but probably not use it in real situations. And that's one of the criticisms of communicative language teaching. And whether this was achieved by communicative language teaching is questionable. A professor who is offering a webinar this Saturday from Australia criticized already by the end of the 1990s the idea that in classrooms we mostly dedicate ourselves to grammar, verbs, past tenses, present tenses, and not so much to communication, even before the 2000s. So criticisms to communicative language teaching have been many. Of course, it's an ideal. We are just reading about what is the objective to get, and it's not a bad idea for you to know, bear in mind that as much as authentic activities and communication activities can occur in the classroom, the better, yes, for your students to use the language. And you will see whenever you go to observe classes, you will see a great variety of this, but probably mostly analysis of the language, analysis of verbs, and metalinguistic analysis. So this is very present in our classrooms. And probably also you learned like this. And there is lots of criticism with books, for example, very good books that were created in the times of communicative language teaching that were nevertheless focused on grammar and the evolution of how you learned grammar from one unit to the other. Okay, and you will see this whenever you go to schools as well. This is very easy to observe. Okay, and so what do you remember of CLT? Some ideas that you have heard and read about? Anything? Genesis?
Yeah, Genesis is not here.
Not here also?
No.
Oh my
Me,
gosh.
Miss,
Yes?
the CLT is when
Communicate.
the professor used something more aspects subjective, I don't know. Like emotion with a child.
Okay, emotions. Emotions are important in CLT. Okay, emotions. In CLT, yes, because they tried, as I said, to resemble real communication as much as possible. So we know that if we are talking about verbs, I am not very much interested in your feelings or your emotions, but whether you know grammar and the form of verbs, whether the past tense is go, went, be, was, is, was. So in that sense, CLT tried to resemble real life. And so they paid attention to emotions, real communicative situations, and we will see some other things tonight. So this webinar on Saturday, this professor is supposedly going to also talk about this. Be good for you to see something like this. So real communicative situations. What else? Trying to exchange messages that are real as possible. Yeah. Learn something. Okay, Genesis is coming back. And so, yes, these were the questions, and more or less some of the ideas of by Dr. Richards indicate that communicative competence is achieved by making communication the focus of the classroom. So again, going back to communicate, to authentic activities, not so much reflection about the language. And in the United States, we used to explain our students, learn to use the language, not about the language. And that is something that has been, nevertheless, that's also a way to learn, and I learned like that. I learned a lot about verbs and about the language, and nevertheless, develop this communicative competence. But anyway, that was an old approach. Yes, the grammar methods. Then you were required to complete this with your graphic organizer. There are different ones, but for this task, this week, I don't want this spider web. So you will need to change that, and I have another one to show you. But there are more you can download. And here is our chart, which is easy to, to display, and very well known by you, but easy to display. So what is the basic concept of communicative language teaching? What did these people want to do in response to learning grammar only? Grammar translation. So imagine a class in grammar translation was about verbs, nouns, all the parts of speech, and then translating into your mother tongue. Just working with dictionaries, sentences. So what was the basic concepts? And a little bit of what Dr. Richards say. What is the basic concept of communicative language teaching? Very, very easy. Griselda also. I'm losing my students. Okay, we're here. Barbara, Genesis, Liselda. Okay, girls. So what is the basic concept? It is in this slide. What do you think?
I'm not sure, but is something close to the linguistic way.
What we were saying is about grammar, or is about what? Here, I have an idea. Communicative language teaching wanted. What do you think? What can you read there?
Learn.
Yes, so communication, yes, communication. Communication. Yes or not? Yes?
Yes.
What else did we say here? Look at this. This was authentic. You remember? Authentic. So, real communicative situations, authentic situations as possible. Communication, authentic situations, authentic, as much as possible. So this is what they try to do, and there are, of course, different varieties, but this is what they wanted to do. Not learn only grammar, the sentence, as Dr. Richard says, yes. Old approaches and methods focus on accuracy, what was correct and incorrect, error, mistakes, and sentences. Yes, the cat is under the table. It didn't have any meaning, but it was correct, accurate. Yes? So this is what we are overcoming here. And so this chart can be also very useful for you to refresh everything you have read. Yes, so this will be for you to complete. But now one more. What kind of activities? And this is easy because we also saw some of them last semester. What kind of activities do we propose in this approach? Communicative language teaching. Which activities? We did them last semester as well. Girls, are you there? Okay. Which activities? Communicative, okay. Remember. And here you have another one. So nothing to do with translation, grammar, verbs. No, that is not communicative language teaching. Which can be? Araceli is here. Oh, it's nice to see her. Communicative language activity. I think we mentioned last semester as well. Hello, Araceli, how are you? We are revising communication. For example,
I don't remember.
What did we do last semester? Remember, what did we do for activities? Not analyzing verbs or sentences, but for example, role plays. Do you remember the role plays?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mimics or not?
The mimics, yes. Whenever we have these levels, very beginner levels, low beginner levels, when our children don't speak, but they understand and communicate with their actions. So if with a mimic, I tell my first grade students, stand up, and I make the action, they will communicate with me by responding. Yes.
Maybe a work group in which they can share their experience, so in that way they learn more.
Yes, exactly. You did a lot of this. Everything you did at university was communicative language teaching. You didn't learn verbs, grammar, sentences, sitting down the whole afternoon. You were doing things. Group work, discussions. Excellent. Now we are remembering them. Group work, discussion, debates, presentations. Didn't you do all of this? Did you do this?
Yes.
Yes, of course. And that's the real communication situation. So as real as possible. Yes. It's not absolutely real. Of course, we are in the classroom, but nevertheless, they are as real as possible. They simulate real activities outside and from the world outside. And that is something we bear in mind. Also reading, even reading is an authentic activity. Yes. We know that reading is an everyday life activity. Of course, then we create all of the school requirements for reading. And in that case, we have, for example, answering questions. And so we force reading, which is an authentic activity of everyday life, into a school activity. But reading, for example, jigsaw reading that you do a lot. So Liselda reads about task-based and Barbara reads about project-based. That is also, that's also communicative, since you can exchange knowledge from different topics. So that's also communicative. Yes, Liselda?
No, miss, nothing.
Okay, so this chart can help you a lot, I think, revise the main concepts. So it will be in the PowerPoint for you to revise again. And remember, we will have all of this for the midterm test. So this is a good way in which you can revise. And then you have some questions to answer. I read different things, but more or less, which would you like to say something about? Liselda? Or who is here?
Do you want that I answer a question?
Yes, one of the questions, just for revision.
Communication implies understanding, agree, explain. I think that yes, because we have to understand to give answer.
To answer, yes, in different ways, in different kinds of answers. For example, the mimicry, the mimic we have seen here is a response. When students respond to us by mimic or by doing something, even when they don't communicate using language, they communicate by doing something. So,
but also answer with a mimic implies that we have to understand what he said or what he did with the mimics.
Exactly. Students are very second class, first grade, second, or even in kindergarten, second class, they already know when they have to stand up or they have to sit down on the floor for story time. And yes, even when they cannot speak, yes, they respond with understanding and acting. We saw that in the silent period. Then giving instructions is an authentic use, as we were discussing last class as well. For example, asking the children, so I give an instruction, students, please stand up and come to the front of the room. And this is a command, yes? Well, I am trying to be polite, but that's a command. That's an instruction. But is a real use of the language? What did we say? And students stand up and come to the front. It's an authentic use?
Yes, why not?
Yes, of course. It is authentic use. When I say, Liselda, please close the door, and Liselda goes and closes the door, it's authentic use. I would use it in school, at the bank, at the hairdressers, and in a bar. Yes, it's authentic use. We give commands, a lot of commands. So that's also communicative language teaching. We also teach language by means of these instances of communication. So that's what we need to think. What is communicative and what is not, when we are not communicating something? It's not that meta-linguistic analysis of the language is bad. Sometimes you need to do it. Students preparing for an exam need to analyze the language meta-linguistically. They need to know more about other aspects of the language. That's not bad. But that the idea of communicative language teaching was that was not the only option in the classroom. That there were other ways in which students could communicate, exchange communication in the classroom. And so you did your 10 important points. I want to think. Yes, did you do them?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so we will, just if you remember one, just as an example, I will check later, but so that I explain the new task. One important point about communicative language teaching, one each, because we're very few. today? Okay, Griselda and Barbara. Barbara.
I'm trying to remind.
Remember, okay. Only one, something important to remember, something that we have been saying about how we use the language. Something? What did we say? We have been saying a lot about communicative language teaching. One idea.
Miss, how it is? Our regards when they advance in their learning. Give
yes. Offer.
Stimulate when they learn something new.
Yes, stimulate students. When they learn something new, when they learn. Yes, and this was about the emotions.
Yes, also if it is a little step, but it doesn't matter. The children need to stimulate when
stimulation.
they learn. Yes.
And everything that refers to emotions and stimulation also refers to the real life around us. Yes. So all the time we are stimulating, not only because we are in the classroom, but when my colleagues at university do something positive, have an accomplishment. We published with a group of colleagues an article, and everyone stimulated me. Well done, keep on going. So that's also part of real life. It's not only because we are in the classroom, yes? So stimulation is very important, motivation all the time. Stimulation and motivation to learn, and motivation come from the real life, from the real world, yes? When the dean writes an email to all of the professors saying, well done, professors, we have done a great semester, now we have a new one. So he's giving us stimulation and motivation to continue our work. And that's real situation. He's not our professor, he's not teaching us, but this is real life. And that is something that comes to the classroom from the world. And that's very important to bear in mind, that that's an authentic use of the language. Of course, it's very much institutionalized. We can say it's something that teachers have make it as a routine almost. And also we know that because of the influence of behaviorism, positive rewards were considered to be probably not communicative. But that's also that can also be a consequence. But I think stimulation and motivation is part of real life, and that's real communication. Real communication. Whenever you say, "Well done, Liselda, you have accomplished this. It's a great job." So I'm really communicating with you and saying something that I would also say in another situation. And I am being authentic with my communication. Okay, do we agree so far? Girls? Ready for the new task?
Yes.
Okay, ready for the new task? Now this is very light, but in the document you have this. This is the flower concept map. Yes, I learned this is new one. And as you can see, CLT has lots of, this is the petals of the flower. So lots of different methods related to CLT. CLT is like a big family. And we did content and language integrated learning and task-based last semester. So that's done. You can go back and revise that as well. But the point now is that we go further to other methodologies, literature-based. We're going to write in capital letters. Literature-based, meaning it's not based on a task, but it's based on literature. So you did something similar to this last semester in the module Learning English Through Children's Literature. It's a kind of, it's an adaptation. Situation-based, project-based. What does it mean? And we read a case study about the project. Do you remember last semester? Girls, do you remember the project we read about?
Sí.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And you even created a project in a quiz, remember? So project-based teaching is also communicative language teaching. We are creating an environment in the classroom in which a student has a problem to solve, and therefore they create different projects to accomplish that task. And problem-based. Okay, so you will be, so you look at this and decide which of the methods, yes, you would like to research. Yes. But this time you will be the researchers. I am not going to give you much help at this point. You will work alone. You will select 2 resources. The same is in the Word document. Do not worry. It's very similar to this. You will have to decide 2 resources. One is a website, an article, for example. You want to know about project-based. So you will go to the internet, yes, and check for articles, websites, web forums, blogs, for example, that talk about project-based. You can check these websites as well, who are pages dedicated to English as a foreign or as a second language teaching, and therefore they have valuable information. And the other source is a video. And you will go to YouTube and look for videos. That's okay. Most of these, even the British Council might publish their videos on YouTube. That's not a problem. And find some more information. Yes, so it's image and listening, not only words written, because many videos have only words written. No, you need to listen to something, to voice. We will do one search for you to have an idea. Okay, so then you will research those resources and you will annotate information. But you will look for another graphic organizer, a different one. Yes, I will show you one. I will send you together, I will upload it together with a task. Okay, I will show it to you. But I need to change this. Okay, look at this one. There's only one option, but in that website, you can find many options that are different from the spider web, which you know very well, and you have done it since last semester a lot. So for example, this is another one. So you have a central idea, project-based is, so this is the main concept, and then you look for the support to this idea. And I think Liselda had used a similar one last semester.
Yes, I did.
Yes, exactly. And because though all of these support project-based, because, and this is I like this a lot. That's why it can also be used with fiction. For example, when you talk about a story, But I liked it a lot because it obliges you to write in your own words. So I think A, B, and C support are characteristics of project-based teaching because because, and this is your own thinking, your own words. So here is where you start enlarging your vocabulary, your ability to write. That's why I copied it, but there are many others to this side. But there you have that graphic organizer is also already telling you, you have to give your own ideas, your own writing. Okay, but you will do two things with the information. You will define, so project-based is, you know, the definition. And you will explain the connection between the method and how it mimics, again, we use mimic, a natural situation. That's what we were saying before. Do you remember? When I say, for example, when we were giving these examples, which of these examples you would find out in real life? So do we analyze verbs, past tenses in real life situation? No.
The third one.
The third one. The second one is something you do at schools, at universities. Yes. Analyzing the language is something that belongs to schooling. Primary school, secondary school, university level. You analyze things. But asking someone to close a door, to open a window, that belongs to real life situations, and I bring them into the classroom. When we have a debate, you can watch on television the politicians debating. So what did teachers say? Okay, now we're going to use debate in the classroom, discussions in the classroom, because they resemble real life. And that's why you will be reflecting on that. How is the connection between this method and real life and natural situation? How is project-based teaching related to real life situations? Where do we find that, for example? That is outside the school. Even in my language, in my native language, yes? Okay. But you're thinking not only of activities, you are thinking of a whole method, yes? So project-based, problem-based. Okay. For example, the dean called my boss and told him we have this problem. Yes, we don't have such a model. What do you think we can do? And therefore, that's a real life situation. Yes, the dean was calling us to solve a problem, we can say, or was talking, presenting about something, and we as a group created a project. We will do this, and that in order to attend to that situation. So that's a real life situation. Now I can say, oh, look at what the dean did with us. I am going to do the same with my students. Okay, do you see? Do you see the comparison? Girls, did you understand?
Yes.
Okay, so that is the connection you're looking for, yes? So what can happen in the real life that I can also resemble in the classroom? And choose here, Education Oasis has lots of other lesson graphic organizers. Okay, the first part, so this task will finish for this week. because next week we will see another thing and I wanted to do, but it will take longer. This will be that you will describe an activity to fit that method, to fit project-based, one activity, and write it on the forum. Yes, this is your creation, but you will not mention the method. In that sense, your classmate will read and he needs to say, oh, that's project-based. So that would be a nice idea if you just describe the activity but without saying the method. Okay, and these are the specifications. Do you remember when we were writing the activities last semester? You were required to pay attention to different aspects whenever you're writing that activity. We did this last semester, so you already know. So how you make input comprehensible. So whenever you are, sorry, this is A. Sorry, I did something wrong. So whenever you're writing this, sorry, my fault, which is the activity, I need to start here, which is the activity language objective. So this is number 1, A, sorry, A. So we will redo this. So you will establish the language objective, then how you make input comprehensible, then how language is used. Remember all of the specifications of the activity, the environment, the warm-up, the instructions, how the activity, how is the activity finished, the interaction, the materials, and how do you pay attention to characteristics, to learners' characteristics. Remember, if students can speak or not. You can do project-based in first grade, but you need to adapt that to the characteristics of the learners. You know, they are in the silent period, and so on and so forth. So you can do it in first grade, in secondary school, at university. You always need to adapt to the characteristics. Okay, so that's the first step for the publication in the forum. Remember, the forum, always the same. You write the comment with these elements. And then we will have 2 more activities that will be done later, but I will invite all your classmates to connect next week to finish this. Because it's a good activity, but we need to have everyone connected. And finally, this is something for you to remember. Activities that are communicative require more than simply interaction. Yes, so we can have students discussing something, speaking about something, but probably that's not necessarily communicative. What do we need for communicative? You need some kind of information exchange. So you need to give and obtain information you don't have. So that's communication. When Liselda speaks about project-based and Barbara receives that information because Barbara did literature-based. So Barbara didn't know about project and Liselda didn't know about literature. So you're exchanging information. Do you understand that? Exchange information?
Yes.
Yes, so if you, everyone is talking about the same topic, we are just interacting. But probably we are not being communicative. I'm not communicating something new, just interacting. Okay, but you say, well, you need to be advanced to do this. You need to be advanced learner. No, you don't. Because, for example, this professor talks about the simplest form might be a guessing game. And I think one of you in this group created an activity with a guessing game. with a bag. Was it you, one of you? There was a bag and the students needed to guess what was in the bag. I do not remember which group did this. So that's an excellent communicative exchange. So the students have to guess. Do you have a book? No, it is wrong. It's very, no, you're far away from a book. So was it any one of you? I don't remember. Liselda, no, I don't remember. But there was one of the activities had this guessing. And you can do with very little children. They don't know much English, but they can communicate. They exchange information. Do you understand?
Teacher,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
guessing is
Eileen?
adivinar.
Adivinar, yes, exactly. Whenever you do this guessing game with little students, you are exchanging information. They do not know what you have in the bag or in the box. Yes, and you have some information they don't have. So always think of this, an activity in which some people have some information, some others have a different kind of information. So that jigsaw activity. Or when they have to guess, find out some information. So you don't have information about this. You need to go and find out. Yes, I have the information, but I'm not telling you. You will be telling me. Yes, it's a little bit of forceful communication, but we will be exchanging communication. Yes, we will be exchanging information because I have some websites, but maybe you find another one. And that happened to me last semester. You published some videos you have found, and I hadn't found up to that moment. And I said, oh, Javiera, look, she published this. I need this video to have some ideas. So you were exchanging information with me. Yes? So that was communicative. That is communicative. Also, you need repetition a little bit. Yes, and with little children, you will have a lot. What is do I have a book? Or the students say, what do I have in the bag? A book. No, keep on thinking. And then you repeat that again. What do I have in my bag? So you need some repetition, especially with little children. Collaboration, also another way to work in information exchange. And language awareness raising. Remember, for example, when I always reminded you in the activities here that you needed to do a warm-up activity, create the language, clarify the language that you were going to use, make input comprehensible. If you're talking about something that is abstract, I don't know, happiness, bring some visual for students to understand that, to have an idea of what happiness is or what can it represent. So in that sense, you're raising awareness about language. Yes, and you're also exchanging information. You're making your students a little bit knowledge, you're teaching, probably teaching new vocabulary. So all of this is necessary. You need to have something new, some information the other doesn't have. Repeat some things, yes, with certain levels because you're learning. Collaborate with others. For example, when you did group discussions and then presented in the classroom. So that was also a communicative activity, yes? So Liselda would say something different than Barbara, but they would put together that and then present to the rest of the classmates. So that was exchange. And becoming aware of language. And this is something, for example, task-based does a lot. You need first to teach vocabulary. for the students to complete the task. And we did several examples of this last semester. You're organizing a farewell party. Okay, but you need to have a previous step in which you present the vocabulary, present activities. So that's awareness, language awareness raising. Yes, that's also communicative. Because students do not know everything they need to know so that they can organize that party. And that was only one example that we did. Okay, is that clear, everyone? Is that clear?
Yes.
Activity? Okay, so we'll try to show you the activity. Is task 2. It is called, I'm not sure whether it's this one, communicative language teaching task 2. And we are talking about different methods from the previous one and from last semester. I was trying to find, but eventually I can't find it. And here, communicative language teaching task 2. Here it is. And so you will see this this Word document for you to work. But I will rearrange that final part so I explain next class. And it's something creative you're going to do as part of the task, but you will do in the next week. Okay? So here you write the resources you found. Here you find the graphic organizer. Here you have the aspects of the activity. And you publish in the forum. This section we will explain next week. And here is this quote by Scott Thornby. Yes, what we analyzed about communicative activities. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, Miss.
So everything will be on Educandos. Yes, question?
No,
Nice to
that
see
one
you.
will be in Educandos.
Yes, in Educandos, everything in Educandos.
Okay.
And the video as well, so we help people who got disconnected. Eileen, it's very good to see you. I need you to, Eileen, you will be presenting on an activity on the standards I will tell you which week. So
Okay.
I need to check with you whether you can connect that day together with Kate. Kate is having issues with her health. So it's very unstable whether she can participate. We hope she can. I need to talk to her.
Okay.
But we organized we did the lottery, and so you will be on October 13th.
Okay.
So I will write to Kate so she connects with you, and you will be preparing. Remember your activity. This is standard 3. So short activity, no more than 10 minutes for that day. And next class, I have to talk to Camila and Daniela now, so I explain to them for next class. Okay, do we have any other doubts? Carlos?
No, I don't.